Hi, welcome to this video training course. Thanks for signing up. My name is Tammy Kabell and I'm founder of Career Resume Consulting, and I'm also creator of the Six Figure Pro online coaching program. In this video series that you've signed up for, there's 10 videos. I'm going to send you one a day to give you some space to absorb it and to really think about looking for a six-figure job in a different way. Career Resume Consulting, my firm, helps get our clients jobs in 10 weeks or less on average, instead of the 18 to 24 month average that you'll find for six-figure job seekers elsewhere. So I'd like to begin by appreciating or congratulating you on signing up for this course, because there's almost 20 million people in America looking for a position, and you're actually taking action in the right way. So just by taking action, it puts you head and shoulders above the rest of the people who are looking for a job and not getting anywhere. So I hope that this training series serves you well and that you can implement some of the ideas that I'm going to share with you going forward. So for today's video, we're going to talk about a different framework of looking for a job. In other words, I'm going to give you a paradigm shift. I'm going to introduce to you something called job search baseball, and that helps you understand how the job market really works today and how to get access to the 75 to 85% of jobs that are out there that are not posted publicly. Those are the hidden jobs, right? The hidden job market. So please enjoy this training, and you'll get another training every day for the next 10 days, and I hope that that serves you well. Here's the first training. It's called Job Search Baseball. Hi, I'm Tammy Kabell. I'm founder of Career Resume Consulting, and I'm creator of the Six Figure Pro online coaching program. And today I'd like to take the opportunity to do some training for you. And what we'll be learning is really a new framework, a new way of thinking about how to look for a job that will probably serve you, and also how to write a resume that gets results. Okay? If you use this information, it's going to be very constructive in helping you find a six-figure job in a matter of weeks instead of the 18 to 24 months that it usually takes to find a six-figure position. And really, this information can be used to find any professional position and not just six figures. If you don't know me, I'll give you a little bit of background about myself. It was in 2003 that I was laid off after working for a large corporation for 10 years. I was actually laid off on my 10-year anniversary. And I spent a year being unemployed, looking for a six-figure position. And in that time, I really didn't know what I was doing. I was looking on the job boards, and I was putting my resume into a black hole. And at about 12 months, I was picked up by a recruiter, and I was able to get a position with an executive career firm. At the time, it was the largest executive career firm in the country. And I spent 5 years there being a marketing director and a senior marketing director. And then after that, I started my own company in 2008. So for the past 5 years, I've determined what it is that works and what doesn't work. And I keep honing my strategies, and I've developed a really systemized approach to finding a six-figure position, really any professional position that will get you a job in, well, my clients last year got a job, most of them got a job in 10 weeks or less, as opposed to the 18 to 24 months that it usually takes to find a position of that caliber. So hopefully this information will help you today, but I will tell you, I just kind of got to give you a warning that this information is a little bit controversial because it's pretty much 180 degrees different from what you're going to hear every other career professional say out there. And so what I want you to do if you're going to go fishing with me is use the worms that make sense to you. So if this makes sense for your situation, absolutely use it. If you don't agree with it, don't use it. But I think that even though it's different than what most career professionals use or recommend, that it has been proven very successful for my clients. And I've got to be serious with you that I think that a lot of career professionals are outdated and don't use the most up-to-date information, and by the time that their information's out there, the job market has moved on, because my system has evolved over time, and I use what works and I discard what doesn't work for my clients. So let's go into the first framework. This is what I like to call job search baseball. So today we're going to learn about job search baseball because it's a different way of thinking about looking for a position. And of course, home plate is a job, and that's what we're looking for, right? And so what I want to explain to you is that from the beginning point to first base, and what is first base but a phone interview? So what is it that you want to do in the beginning of a job search? You want to get that first phone call, right? And a lot of people feel that if they get that first phone call, they're going to get a job. But you have to use specific techniques in order to get that phone call. These techniques are marketing techniques. You really want to use marketing syntax, meaning marketing phrasing. You want to use what I consider to be very persuasive words. Some people think they're a little salesy or aggressive, but it's what works. It's using marketing in your resume, your online profile, and in networking. So you want to be able to explain your expertise, articulate your expertise to anybody who's asking, what are you looking for? And explain what type of position you're looking for and what type of company you want to work for. But what you're using is marketing in order to get that first phone call. But keep in mind too that all of these, the resume, the online profile, and the networking, that's all just to get the phone call. The resume is not there to get you the job. The online profile is not there to get you the job. It's only there to get you noticed and to get that first phone call, okay? Then, once you get that phone interview, what do you want to have happen? You want to get to second base, which is the face-to-face interview. And how do you do that? You no longer use marketing. You actually use sales psychology. So you're using sales techniques in order to get to second base. And one of the most important things that you can do in using sales psychology is to ask for the sale, with the sale, in this case, being the face-to-face interview. So one of the things that you can do, instead of saying at the end of the phone interview, so what are the next steps? You say something to the effect of, you know, I really enjoyed talking with you today, and actually I'm more excited about the position now that I've learned more about it. Is there a time that we could get together in your office next week or later this week to talk about it more extensively? In other words, ask for the sale, because they may want to talk with you, but they don't pull the trigger, and then business happens and they forget about it and they go on with their lives and it doesn't happen. So you want to set a clear future by the end of the phone call so that you've got a date and time that you're going to be meeting them face to face. All right? And in the face-to-face interview, you're going to be using sales psychology again. And what do you want to have happen? You want the offer. Now, most people think that the offer means you've got the job, but that's not actually the case. You're using sales psychology in the face-to-face interview in order to get that offer, in order to make sure that you are the person that they want to hire. You do that in the face-to-face interview, because remember, phone interview is only there to get you a face-to-face interview. The face-to-face interview seals the deal for the offer. And once you get the offer, you actually have to use negotiating techniques in order to get the job. You don't actually get your butt in the seat until you've negotiated a deal that is right for you. So this is what I consider to be job search baseball. What you have to remember is that this is a step-by-step process. This is not, none of this will get you a job. A phone interview won't get you a job or even an offer. A phone interview, if it's done successfully, will get you a face-to-face interview, and the face-to-face interview gets you the offer. You're using marketing techniques in order to get that first phone call. Then you're using sales techniques to get to that face-to-face interview. The face-to-face interview, you use sales techniques to get to the offer and make you the wanted person, the expert, the answer to their prayers, the answer to their problems. You want to make sure that you build your value to whatever challenges they have. And then the offer, you start negotiating, and it's really important that you negotiate even in this economic environment. It's negotiating that will actually get you the job. So I wanted to go through this job search baseball to really give you a new framework of thinking about how job searching goes, okay? I hope you enjoyed that training, and I hope that it gives you some insight as to how the job market works these days and a different way of thinking about looking for a job. Tomorrow, you're going to learn about how to build a rock star resume that really gets the phones ringing. I'm going to go into a lot of detail about how to put together a resume that gets you results. And so look forward to that tomorrow. If you need immediate assistance, feel free to reply to the email that you received from me, and one of our team members will get back to you. Or if you want to get even quicker results, you can fill out the online survey. There's a link in the email that I sent you. Fill that survey out, and one of our team members will get back to you very shortly to set up a time to talk about our services. I hope that you've enjoyed this video and that you're looking forward to tomorrow's video about how to build a rockstar resume. Thanks!